victim of the Kegworth air disaster who almost died when a passenger jet crashed in 1989, has taken his first steps 30 years on from the tragedy. Stephen McCoy was 16 in January 1989 when the flight from London Heathrow to Belfast crashed on the M1 motorway, killing 47 people on board and injuring 74 others. Stephen was given very little chance of survival and medics were considering switching off his life support when he started to show signs of life. As the 30-year anniversary of the air disaster approaches, the now 46-year-old has started walking with the aid of a bionic suit. Stephen, who was an All-Ireland boxing champion before the crash, was left paralyzed from the waist down when a Boeing 737 crashed onto an embankment near the M1. He was saved from dying only by the intervention of an ambulance crew and spent 6 months in a coma. He was only able to go home 3 years later, and his sister, Yvonne, now looks after him. A BBC Northern Ireland documentary to be aired next week shows him taking his first steps since the crash as he family look on in tears of joy after fitting him into the exoskeleton. His physio assures him you cannot fall. Before he walks in a circle around the room, his sister Yvonne says she is very proud of her brother and privileged that he got the opportunity to walk after so many years in a wheelchair. Yvonne tells the program, hopefully the exercise he has had on the skeleton legs will continue and he will get better and better. Really wants a big miracle, the big miracle of being able to walk again. He has never ever been sad. Says his determination to survive has been aided by his religious beliefs, and, despite needing to get in an plane, he goes on an annual pilgrimage to Lourdes in southwest France. Stephen gives his experience of the bionic legs a 10 out of 10 rating. After taking more than 150 steps with them, the suit supports his waist, back and legs, moving them forward as his physio helps him stand properly to balance his weight. Remembering the moment she heard of the air crash, Ms. McCoy said, "There was a report on the news said there's a British Midland plane from London to Belfast has gone down on the M1, and I knew when I saw the airplane on the TV. I knew then that Stephen was either going to be very badly hurt or dead." His long recovery comes after he was awarded £1.4 million British pounds damages to pay for his care in 1995 after a case brought against the airline, British Midland. Before the crash, he had more than 50 fights as an amateur boxer and hoped to follow his family tradition of becoming a fisherman if he did not make it as a boxer. Next Tuesday, to mark the 30-year anniversary of the Kegworth air disaster, a service will be held at St Andrew's Church, Kegworth, attended by families of the victims and some of those injured in the crash. An inquiry into the crash heard that the 737 was preparing for an emergency landing at East Midlands Airport after an engine caught fire, but instead of shutting down the left-hand one, which was ablaze, the pilot stopped the right-hand engine. Stephen McCoy, My Fight to Live is on BBC One Northern Ireland on Monday, January 7th at 10:40 p.m.